Yeah, I was talking to some people, Labour MPs last night, and they said the whole strategy is stand back and hope that this whole strategy unravels. It's audacious, it's a big gamble. We've seen the effect on sterling, although it seems to be stabilising overnight, but that's Labour's pitch, although there's tensions in Labour, because on Saturday, the Deputy Leader, Angela Rayner, was suggesting the 1p cut in income tax would be cancelled. Keir Starmer said yesterday it wouldn't be. And a lot of left-wing Labour MPs think Labour are being too cautious on tax. But again, the whole strategy is let's hope that the Tory pan unravels and then they win the next election. But it's a big risk by the Tories. It's the best Tory budget I've heard probably in 35 years. So let's hope it works.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you say that. I mean, a lot of people look and say, well, how the heck are we going to pay any bills? We understand the drip-down policy and all that, but do you think that doing what they have done, the Conservatives have now given Labour a chance to have distance between the two parties and therefore a clear choice for people?
Yeah, look, there's no doubt it's a clear blue water now between the two. The Tories are seen to be on the side of big earners because, let's face it, people earning over 150,000 a year are going to do very well out of this budget. But the signal they're trying to send is that Britain is open for business, it's open for investment. They want bankers from all around Europe to come here. And actually, that tax, top rate of tax, if it's so significant, Labour were in power. I think Gordon Brown was Chancellor for 10 years. Then he was Labour leader for 3 years. And he introduced the top rate of tax in his very last budget, just before the Tories won the general election. Because it raises very little money. It's all about, it's a totemic tax, if you like. It's about Labour saying we're on the side of not the big earners. The Tories, by scrapping it, they're on the side of big earners. But in fact, it will probably bring in more money to the exchequer, because you're not going to get people spending quite as much money on expensive accountants avoiding tax. That's the theory.
Could you give us a sense of the mood at conference there? Because I've heard some commentators describing it as being the most upbeat, buoyant Labour Party conference they can remember, because they can sense that there is fear, whether it be in the markets or in some parts of the Conservative Party itself, about that shock and awe mini-budget on Friday. Do you think there is a sense there that they might soon be, they are a government in waiting now?
There's no doubt about it. It's the most positive mood I've seen at a Labour conference in years. They think the Truss Kwarteng budget is a game changer. They think it changes it in their direction. Let's face it, the Tories have only got 18 months to make this work. If it doesn't work, the economy could be in big trouble. What some Labour MPs are already worrying about is they think the election is now in the bag, but they're worried if the budget crashes the economy, then they will inherit a really, really bad economic scenario, which could then cause them huge difficulties. But whatever shadow minister you talk to, whatever Labour MP you talk to, they say we can win the next election, and we will. They weren't saying that last year.
Interesting, yeah. It's all looking very interesting up in Liverpool. Can we turn our attention now, though, to what was happening in London last night, these protests that have spread around the world and indeed here now in the UK in response to the regime in Iran and the murder and torture of a young 22-year-old woman who had failed to cover up her hair suitably?
It's an extraordinary story. It's an extraordinary what's happening in Iran. The protests are continuing. They're now spreading all around the world. I don't quite know why we had to see so many of our own police officers attacked outside the embassy in London last night. But you do wonder how the Iranian regime is going to respond to this. Are they going to crush it, rather like the Chinese did in Tiananmen Square all those years ago, because they are in danger of losing control here. Women are literally burning their veils, burning their scarves, and the police are responding with increasing aggression. The number of deaths in Iran, we think, is probably 20, 30 already, and rising. Very significant protest, actually, and I think those protesters in Iran are very brave.
Yeah, but then you get a mixed message, Andrew. You look at the scenes we were just showing there about conflict with the police officers in London, and that's no way to further your cause. That's just a way of alienating people and saying, what's it got to do with us? I mean, stop picking a fight with us.
I know, and it's incredible that in Iran you can't protesting and demonstrating is against the law. It's not against the law in this country, and yet they're breaking the law by deploying such violence. You're right, they're damaging their cause enormously. Why are our police officers being attacked and beaten up for trying to enforce peaceful protests?